Hey y'all, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. This is episode 2 of my Nature Fantasy series. Basically, I'm taking you along on the journey of writing my Nature Fantasy project. Anyway, the first episode was on me figuring out the basic premise of the story. There were some parts that were still a bit clunky. I'm not sure about them yet. But yeah, if you want to check out the playlist, I will leave that link below and up in the cards, so you can go check that episode out if you haven't already. But anyway, today is the next section, which is the story skeleton. And in case you don't know, I'm using the Novel Factory Write a Novel in 1 Year breakdown. They basically take you through step-by-step writing a story and what steps you should take. I'm just doing this as an experiment to see if I like this process. As I mentioned in my previous video, I don't know if this is necessarily the best or the only. I know it's certainly not the only way to write a novel, but I wanted to try it out because I like experimenting with various things. So anyway, this program, basically they break it down into how many weeks each step should take. Basic premise is supposed to take 1 week, and the story skeleton is supposed to take 2 weeks, and that is what I'm on now. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I'm going to be working on today, or in the next couple weeks. That's what I'm going to be working on the next couple weeks. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I've had some revelations in my mind about how I want the story to go. So anyway, let me take you over to my computer so you can kind of see what I'm working with right now. So for the story skeleton, they have a couple different basic points that they want you to cover. The status quo, the complication, and the crossing the threshold, I think, are going to be what I'm going to work on this week, because that's what I have the most of. The hardest part, I think, is going to be Act 2, where, because I don't really know what's going on there. I don't know what I want to include. So this part will probably take me the most amount of time, and then Act 3 should be fairly simple. But I think I'm going to start today with the status quo, and possibly move into the complication. We'll see. But I definitely think I want to start with the status quo for right now and just see how far I can go. Alrighty, so I've worked a little bit on the status quo and the complication. I like how the status quo works. Basically, my main character is fleeing her home country with a group of other individuals, and they're tired. They're just searching for a place to call home and to settle, and they're brought into this house who specializes in healing and in bringing comfort. And she's like, I love it here. This is where I want to be. And then the complication, I'm not sure if I'm completely set with it. I'm going to brainstorm it a little bit more. But essentially, as she heals and gets better, sort of, she finds that she doesn't have like the necessary energy and strength to fit in with this house, because they specialize in healing, which takes a lot of energy from the healer to the others. She feels guilty being there because she's having to rest more. She's having to do she isn't able to support them as much as she would have liked. So she feels like, because she doesn't feel like she fits in, she feels like she needs to go join a different house. In the meantime, the person who is hunting her people is closing in on the country she just fled to. So there's these rumors that he's coming and that life is going to get much harder. So she's got that also going on in her mind as she's dealing with this. So anyway, I'm starting off, I think I like this. I think one thing I do want to do is try to weave in ideas from the magic system into this so that I remember. I am continuing to flesh out the story so I don't forget. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So I think later I will work on finishing Act 1 and possibly moving into Act 2 and figuring out the basic story skeleton for those. So that should be exciting. But yeah, I think I'm going to brainstorm the complication a little bit and try to figure out what exactly that's going to look like and how that can be engaging and exciting. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the progress I've made so far, so we'll see how the rest of this plotting goes. Okay, so now I have gotten the, what's it called? I've now gotten the status quo and the complication more or less figured out. So now I'm going on to the final part of the story skeleton for Act 1, and that is crossing the threshold. This essentially is where they are crossing, as the website says, they're crossing some kind of barrier, physical or not, making it impossible for them to return to their old life. So this one may be a bit tricky for me to figure out because I am not sure which barrier I want to choose. So I might write down a few options of things I might want to do and explore, and then decide on which one I want to use. So that would be the end of Act 1, and then I can move into the meat of the story in Act 2, and yeah, so that should be pretty exciting. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that and figure out which angle I want to take. Well, it's a few days later, probably about a week or so, since I've last worked on my Nature Fantasy Project outline, and since I last made an update clip. But anyway, I just finished the bare bone skeleton structure of Act 2, and while it does need some more development, you know, more brainstorming, all the pieces being added to it, I am kind of really liking how it's going. At the very least, I will have my main character's storyline come together. I do believe that it will have multiple character POVs and multiple, like, it is more like an epic fantasy, I think, where there will be like a broader spectrum of characters and storylines all weaving together. So I think I will have to go through and add those in as well. But as far as Angelus is coming, I think I am pretty happy with the progress I've been making. I just need to finish the last 2 beats for Act 3, and then I should be done with the story skeleton, and I am pretty excited about that because then that means I can move on to some of the more nitty-gritty aspects of the story and write those and figure that out, and I'm really excited about that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and work on those 2 beats, and that should bring me to the end of my of this part of the plotting, so that should be pretty exciting. Alrighty, I finished it. I finished Act 3, and so now the story skeleton is done. A couple things that I learned along the process is that while I think the story skeleton is great for brainstorming various different, like, key points in the story, I think there are some parts that are lacking for specific kinds of books, such as epic fantasy, where you do have more than one storyline. I think that can be fixed by doing this multiple times for the various different characters and the various different storylines that are being woven together, but it will take more work and more time in order to do that. So that is one thing to keep in mind, that this might not necessarily be the easiest or quickest thing for specific types of writing or specific types of stories. Another thing is that it is very much a basic story skeleton. It is not fleshed out very much. It has lots of room for improvement. There are quite a few places where I'm not sure if I like the stuff I came up with, so I will definitely be considering changing or improving upon some of the aspects as I continue through this process. There's other outlining and plotting sections throughout this novel in 1 year breakdown. Obviously I'm not doing it in 1 year. I'm allowing myself to take as little as or as much time as I need. That way I don't feel like it's too stressful. But I definitely think that it will need even more work than I've already put into it in order to make it a full story. But I am very happy with the progress that's been made. I'm very happy with the basic outline. I think that it is a good jumping off point for the rest of my story, that I think I can actually improve upon it, because obviously you can't edit a blank page. So you need to put something down. I need to put something down if I would like to actually have completed the story. So even if it's not at all what I want, it is still something and I can still improve upon it. So anyway, yeah, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. But yeah, I hope we can hang out again sometime soon. But until then, I hope you have a very blessed day.